box, they can just poke him down with, well, considering that Rhyme will want to try and get close enough to land the chill winds at times, but you're only going to be able to stun out one person there with the Catherine, who would have to either decide, do I stop the Kestrel who's putting these glimmer shots in, or do I stop the Rhyme that has been picked up that we now see? So it could be the case that they might just finish off that comp with that of a Kestrel. Could even be the Saw, if I dare say so myself. But
it's great against Vox. That is very true. Saw would be a nice last pick. Works with Arden, you get a nice speed boost to push Saw towards whoever he wants to focus, as long as it's not Catherine. Gauntlet traps them inside so that they have to either block and run away, or they're trapped in a cage with Saw. A fighting cage, you might say. Maybe next patch when Arden gets that spin, and it will be. Nice prediction from Michael Question Jewel. What do you think this last pick should be to counter that?
It's tough to say. I like to think that CC generally counts, or if you're able to chain enough of it together. Arona might be able to jump in there alongside the Catherine going in. The only problem in doing so is you've let Saw and Rhyme end up on the same team. So your distance in this case with the Samuel pickup, Samuel being so well utilized previously, especially with the empowered Malice and Verdicts, a lot of damage going down, and with an easy target like that of Saw, shouldn't be too hard. So that is a good pick, as opposed to my initial thoughts of maybe just go all in on Saw. They're going to just go and try poke and whittle down the Saw, and just generally staying out of a range of the side of Renagades. But they do have the Arden there with the, you mentioned, the Gauntlet into the late or mid game. Once he hits that level 6, will be able to hopefully catch out the enemy and force them into close quarter engagements.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a nice draw from Renegades. It can work really well for them. But what Nebulae have got is they've got their poke comp. Samuel needs to just not get anywhere near anyone. He needs to be as far away as possible, landing Malice and Verdicts from max range, drifting dark when it looks like the engage is going to happen so he can get even longer range to kite Saw from further away. Because one thing that they haven't got is they haven't got anything to push Saw in. They've got a Vanguard, but he's so slow anyway that won't give him much extra. They don't have a Lyra Portal, which can really catch you out with a Saw. So as long as Samuel gets a block when Arden hits level 6 and Catherine gets a Crucible for the Echoed Gauntlet, then they will be fine. That's all they need to do. I think Atlas needs to be prioritized early on Catherine. If she can stun Saw out of his suppressing fire, that would be really big. If not, you force the block on your Mercer's Pursuit, so you're guaranteed to hit the Atlas. That's really how you counterplay against this Saw. You force blocks with CC, hit the Atlas.
Well, we do see in this situation, it's kind of similar to one of, or if not the first match we saw between that of Impunity and Elite 8, that the Rhyme going into a Vox and Samuel once again is a very tough comp to dive into. We did mention the one, I guess, plus side is they have the Arden on their team this time. So if they are able to force out those close quarter fights, they might just be able to turn it around and win out. However, I do like what Nebulae went for by picking up the poke and just trying to keep that distance against this comp. And we'll just have to see whether Saw is going to be able to be that menace and push down the objectives early on, just give them that early lead they need, because this is Renegades we're talking about, sitting at the top of the table, and generally with normal team comps, they are the first to take the first objective.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see how this is going to work out for them. Now loading into the House to Unfold for the first game, and it's going to be lovely. It's going to be an exciting one to cast. You've got a Saw, man, but with casting this game, it will be I'll question yourself and Luxuria. Take it away.
Hello, and I'm pretty excited coming into this game, all because of, Saw. I mean, I've been going on it, at it for the entirety of last week. I want to see a Saw, and when Impunity and RNG just brought out a Saw, it was just, I was happy. I was a happy camper. But for the side of Nebulae, I was expecting the Reza being picked up just so you can just dive in, take down that Saw. That Saw would be useless. Of course, you have the Vox to just deal with that Rhyme coming through from RNG. But Rhyme was not Rhyme, but Reza was the hero that I was expecting coming through from Nebulae. But what about you, I request to do? I mean, you don't quite like Saw, right?
Well, I'm starting to. I'm not sure if I could say respect it, but I know it is very much for current meta, as we've seen it being pulled out multiple times in that of the VG8 and that of challengers as well, even in solo queue ranked and the general public rank scene. So with that, saw a very good pickup. Also, sometimes a very good ban. I wouldn't be surprised if RNG win this one out fairly quickly with the saw pick, that Nebulae might consider going for a saw ban into the second draft, but we'll just have to see where things go from there. But as you mentioned, the Reza pick could have been an option for Nebulae, and I agree with you there. It's kind of my first style of thinking that maybe Nebulae just want to jump on the saw instantly and force out, you kind of are forcing out the team fight, but just getting the saw out of the picture.
Yep, you are, but the Samuel can work, but as we mentioned before, and we saw it in Impunity's game, when QC was on that Samuel, you have to play really, really aggressively. And as with Chingy as well, Minimiter did mention in that first game, when you have a rhyme, you want to go up against the Samuel in that jungle, try, your best to just not allow the Samuel scale up. But we are not seeing any form of aggression coming through from Iron Gryudai on this Samuel. No pressure in lane, and Uni as well. Usually when we do see a Saw, we do see the early game aggression, early game push with a Saw, but Uni just playing rather passively as compared to the Saws we've seen in the past. But now with trophies, I mean, Saw is going up against a Fox. He can obviously just go up very, very aggressively. And
Iron Gryudai looking like they might have disconnected there. Will hand over the first blood, and well, some pro plays going down there if you're able to stun him out of the game completely. A bit of a joke there. It looks like we will be kicked from the match. So with that, not too sure what kind of connection issues we are having, but we will get those sorted soon, hopefully. And with that, I guess it just leads us back to talking about our speculation, as that first blood not going to ever have happened, as we'll have to reset the match.
yep, and we did see earlier on when Uni just have got a heavy steal now, went very aggressive against Trophies and took Trophies really low, forcing him to just burn that healing flask of his, but didn't quite do much at the end of the day, because we saw a very good rotation, a very good buy coming through from Nebulae. That minion Candy just slowing down the push from Saw. But as we come into the match and we are waiting for the reset, I'm expecting RNG to just play this Saw to a very good extent. I mean, we saw them with this Saw and they ended game pretty early. And they are forced to, because we know Saw kind of stagnate after the third turret. After the anchor turret is pushed down, Saw, finds himself in a very weird position where you cannot take any objectives. And if you're unable to snowball from that, then you allow the enemies to just turtle up and farm up against you. And in the late game, Saw kind of loses all his capabilities and effectiveness, especially to push down the two Vein Crystal turrets.
Yeah, with that, I think that we will be able to get back into the match sooner rather than later, and I think that it rarely comes down to, as you mentioned, the Saw pushing into the base, and it's something Minimiter and I talked about in the Impunity matches, because they were finishing these matches out quicker than most Saw matches would be finished, because I think there's a problem that a lot of Saw comps run into, is once they break open the base, how do they actually get at the kills they need to finish it off, because the death time is so slow unless you have such a massive lead and either stagger the enemy or get a full wiped ace and you're just close enough to the enemy's base to push in with confidence. It is tough to do, and most teams just have to rely on that first Kraken, and that's a turning point against these Saw comps, where if you're either able to steal it or just push back the initial Kraken push, you have an opportunity at making a comeback.
Yep, and we saw in one of the matches last week, I think it was challenges. Saw was picked up, played very, very well, able to push everything in. But the Black Feather stole that Kraken, able to turn that game around. So, Saw really relies on this first Kraken. If not, then, like you mentioned, gain a massive lead. And from then, you just don't quite need the Kraken anymore. If you can get that 8k, 7k gold lead very early in the game, then Kraken will be quite pointless anyways. But RNG will still go on with their usual rotation, picking up that early Elder Treant. And as Minimizer actually pointed out last week as well, that with that initial, if you pick up the Elder Treant, the moment it spawns, you get to have 4 of it, which will be very valuable as long as Uni just constantly just rotate down and just constantly secure it, just giving them the extra gold lead, extra cash in their pocket just to complete their items much quicker.
I think the most important thing in that is, as a jungler main myself, I seem to notice the extra level advantage you seem to have by the time shops are up and you make that rotation up to the lane. If you've been able to clear out the mid Elder Treant all those times for yourself, you are going to have an extra level on top of that, the enemy jungler, and usually around that stage you get your ult then, and you're able to turn around early team fights. So that could be big with the Valkyrie on Chingy.
Yeah, very good minion Kenny popped on Uni there. Once again, Nebulae not diverting from their team comp, from their strategies at all, just to stop Uni from pushing, and we are seeing much better aggression coming through from Iron Gyudai, but Chingy may be able to secure this, but Iron Gyudai with those Malices and Verdict.
Yep, and they're still going to fight it out. There's going to be the root coming out from Chingy, but look at this. Doesn't really have the fortified health he needs, or does he? I could be wrong, as Iron Gyudai forced to use that potion, and Chingy now using his boots to catch up to him, and should be able to take the kill. The first blood going over to the side of RNG, so a repeat of last, but now it's going to be Truffless getting caught out in the jungle, and Truffy's trying to go past Uni. I don't think Uni saw him. Nope, Uni going in with a roadie run, did see Truffy's indeed, is going to catch him out in the jungle, puts down the suppressing fire. Now if Truffy isn't able to get away, he will fall in that enemy jungle for basically no reason, going in there, just giving up his life. He's still staying to stay. He's staying to steal, actually, and he's going to pay the price for it. There's the roadie run, and the minions take him down, and there's going to be all the farm still in the hands of Renagades. So sitting at 7.6k up to 6.2 at 3 minutes in, to have a 1k gold lead is pretty massive, because they just got those kills back to back. And Chingy, did you run in and steal that? You did. Oh my god, Renegades not giving up a thing to the side of Nebulae.
Okay, I'm kind of lost right now, so maybe you can help me with this. But Truffy's actually picked up an early crystal bit. I'm not sure as to what for. Maybe for that extra damage with those resonant bouncers, but I don't think it's effective at all.
Truffy's so very low, and you see why. This is why I would consider the crystal bit pickup on Truffy's, as they get burst out by the suppressing fire so low once again. Another order will be enough to kill them, and they have to give up this initial turret to the Rhyme and Saw as they push in. SNK, however, low in the back line. They could turn this fire around, at least for a trade-out kill on the side of Nebulae, but you see Iron Gyudai basing back Chingy into his own jungle, just kiting him at this point. And I think that is very much so, as you mentioned, for those resonance bounces in Truffy's head. They might have thought, well, we don't... It looks like Iron Gyudai, no, didn't steal that. Chingy did get it, but it's not going to be enough health to keep him alive, and Uni going to be able to get the trade kills, actually getting 2 for 1, so working out, even though Chingy was going down. No, Truffler's going to be left alone and able to escape. So a bit of a misplay there coming out from the side of Renegades, but going back to that crystal bit, that was picked up. I do think it is to get that little bit extra damage on the resonance bounces, because you know those can hit Uni without you actually needing to be in range of Uni for auto attacking.
Or maybe it is just a misbuy and not much strategy actually went into it. But Iron Gudai will be missing the entirety of RNG. Maybe it's time for you to back off. Don't even try to secure what you cannot. And Iron Gudai in a not as favorable position as the side of RNG, but they will move up into the lane, try to clear this candid wave once again from the side of Nebulae.
Uni going to be putting down the suppressing fire, and it's up to SNK to body block those incoming Malice and Verdict shots from Iron Gudai, and look at that. Uni gets within range to get those auto attacks down. He just starts ripping through the enemy team, but Chingy is going to have the speed with those boots to get up in the front line and actually lock down some enemies. And he's already picked up those travel boots, as your mini Miter recommended to me on Rhyme. It's very important, and I think much more important in this Saw comp, that with Saw being so stationary, you need to be that frontline threat with the Rhyme pick up. So having those tier 2 boots so early on just allows you to get in the enemy's face and put down this pressure, because we see the Oblivion coming out from Sab Nebulae. They're looking for something, but Chingy already up in the face, going to be able to take down the Samuel and looking for Truffy's on this Vox. Vox doesn't have the Sonic Zoom just yet. It's available now, but it's still too close to Chingy, and Chingy will be able to take the kill if it's not shanked away from him. Uni going in with a roadie run, and they're 7-1. Kills ahead of minutes at this point, and Nebulae, or the last remaining member of Nebulae who survived from that fight, is Truffless, trying to escape, but SNK will be able to cancel the recall at this point. They could even get trapped, but Uni running away from Iron Gudai. The team of Renagades is split. This could be a chance for Nebulae to take something out of it, as we see Iron Gudai going in with the Drifting Dark and Power Malice and Verdicts, but SNK once again doing the job as a support should, especially of that Saw, making sure none of those shots get through and hit him. Just the best bodyguard you could ask for.
Very good bodyguard. I mean, we haven't quite seen it before, and half the time whenever we praise body blocking coming out from teams, another fight maybe happen.
Oh, there's going to be the gauntlet, so hold your tongue as the Valkyrie goes down and shuts down that box, and there's going to be the kill follow up onto the Catherine. I don't think they can catch out Iron Gudai, as he will be able to just kite back, and there's no echo on that gauntlet just yet, so it's up to him to just make sure that one minion doesn't touch the turret. Otherwise Saw can push in and win everything. But no, in all seriousness, there's going to be the Oblivion going through onto the backline. Doesn't hit anyone, but it does force Renegades to use that fountain, as a fight will break out, and Nebulae could have this one. Renegades have overstepped their boundaries, and are they going to get punished for it? There's the AoE damage coming through, the massive damage at that of the whoa, my Iron Gudai went so low to that Rhyme. He does manage to get the damage off though, and the Drifting Dark and Power Malice and Verdicts were enough, but now Uni still standing is their problem, and SNK until his last dying breath is trying to body block these and is opening up the window for Uni to pick up the double kill, possibly the triple. He's running with a roadie run. He needs to buy the boots, but he didn't, and Truffy's might be able to get away from this one. No suppressing fire up just yet. You do not want to go near Truffless when they are near that MVP. The Crystal Sentry will end your life, but that double kill turnaround, they were able to turn a fight that should have been in Nebulae's favor into an even trade out.
I'm not even sure how Uni actually sustained through all of that, and I must say it is just because of the hesitation coming through from Truffy's and Iron Gudai, and thus Uni and okay, fine, maybe it's not entirely Uni, but let's just say it's just SNK putting a very good job with those vanguards, those blood for blood, and just able to just keep this Saw alive for such a long time, and Chingy is on the chase.
Yep, and speaking of vanguards, he does vanguard the Rhyme to chase onto Truffy's. There's going to be the Valkyrie, but it gets blocked out, so no stun, but still a lot of damage, forcing Vox to back, and there's going to be the Gauntlet going in for the kill onto the Samuel, the lockdown onto Catherine. They get the double kill, and wow, RNG Renegades just playing like these this match. And I think after Impunity's match, they were like, you know, if Impunities are going to put up a show, we'll put up a show as well, because as you mentioned, Renegades and Impunity kind of have that grudge there between each other, both both being the top teams at the moment. However, Nebulae, let's see if they can turn things around, even though they are quite behind as is, especially with the Crystal Sentry falling. Truffy's getting jumped on. Chillwinds misses. He is able to kite back, but falls to the Frost. And now it's up to Iron Gudai to do something here. Oblivion does land, but doesn't stun anyone out, so just missing actually, and Chingy trying to chase him down. Will catch him out between Uni, and they manage to finally pick up the kill. And I think you really have to give it to SNK here, just his positioning and helping his team position on this Arden. He's doing an amazing job.
Yes, and that is why we have been talking about this particular comp where you have an Arden and a Saw. Arden just basically just, you know, fills up wherever Saw is weak at, and we all know the more spun up a Saw is, the slower he is. But Arden negates all of that with the Vanguard, and Saw is basically a sitting duck half the time. A lot of people just call Saw the walking turret, and the only reason is because he's just so very slow. But an Arden just offsets all of that with that Vanguard, a speed boost, and the Gauntlet just trap the enemies in. Saw don't have to move far to fight. Saw can just stand outside the Gauntlet and, you know, away from, you know, Harm's hands, and just shoot from the outside. And that is basically just Uni and of course SNK synergizing so well and working so very well as well, especially with the Rhyme. Rhyme slows everyone and Saw just shoots.
Well, it really is a comp that shouldn't be allowed on the same team, but Rhyme and Saw for Massa to be on the same team is just so hard to play against. And I do say that Nebulae went into a decent draft by picking up the Samuel box, thinking about just outpoking the enemy, but with how aggressive Renagades have been playing and just playing that comp well, because this comp could have easily been played, but just less aggressive and not had that early game pressure and fallen through on them and simply gone to Nebulae in the late game as they have such good scaling. But Renegades doing such a good job all in all. There's going to be the wait for it, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop the engage coming out from Renegades. Uni spun up, running in there, picks up the kill onto Catherine, and there's going to be the Oblivion blocked out. So now Nebulae with no Roma to help them through here. Renegade's seriously going to do this. They are looking for the first turret, but they need to be careful because with Arden tanking up the shots on the turret does mean that Uni is open and prone to damage, so they are going to change their minds about that and back out of the fight for now. There's the Crystal Sentry to worry about, but they should burn that down within seconds. And wow, the Winter Spy is keeping Iron Gudai at bay. There's going to be the re-engagement from Renegades. The message pursuit onto SNK stuns him up. Maybe not the right target to stun up. You should be focusing onto Uni, but right now Uni forced to run away with barely any life left. Chingy might get Winter Spy off to get another kill, but no, there will be the fall of Arden and soon to follow the Rhyme. Saw was able to get out in time to stop the ace, so Nebulae finally get a fight in their favor, but they are sitting 10k gold behind, and if they're not able to turn it around after this from after this point, it will continue to go in Renegade's favor more than likely.
Yep, Uni just sitting very sneaky on top of that mid-tree and over the U-shaped wall there. But Trophy's very, very low, and Uni can definitely just go in a 1v1 with him. But of course, fearing that his allies will be around the corner. But what really happened in that team fight was Chingy on that Rhyme basically just overstayed, and they had no they had nothing for them then. It was just down to the Vein Crystal Turret. There were no minions pushing in at all, but they just tried to go in for the siege. Everything was burned and they were forced to back off, but you know, they're just backing off so and too slowly. And you mentioned something earlier on that, you know, if they go in for those staggered kills, straight just killing one and then push and then another one and kill and another push, but then it just doesn't work very well for Saw and Chingy because they just burn through energy too fast and they just do not have what it takes to sustain to just stay in a team fight for that long, because a staggered kill basically staggering the kills, forces you to stay in a team fight for a very, very long time.
And there's going to be the gauntlet into the Valkyrie, and we see Samuel getting obliterated instantly. Truffy's on that backline trying to kite back, and it looks like he will be able to do just that. He has the breaking point now, so is able to build up a few stacks. Could turn around the fight with an infusion pick up as well, but has lost those breaking points after he went back to buy it. Is just working on the minions, making sure that those minions don't get through to turret, allowing Uni to have a free and clean shot on it, because meaning with SNK tanking up the shots, Uni is open to being shot at himself. And this is another factor we didn't consider when thinking that, well, Saw has a tough time pushing into base. But we do see the kite back from Nebulae once again. Truffy's trying to escape a rhyme, and he's going to do just that, but the Valkyrie stops him in his tracks. Chingy with these Valkyries just so on point today is now going to try follow through onto the kill for Iron Dai. Looks like he will get it, and no, it's going to be SNK with the last hit there, the blood for blood, surely. And Uni, meanwhile, ripping through the turrets, looking for the crystal, hungry for more. They get it 15 minutes, 35 in without the Kraken, and Renagades pushing through for the first game. As I said, will not be surprised if we see a Saw ban come through.
Yeah, I mean, Saw second phase ban would be optimum now coming into the second draft between Renegades and Nebulae. But, you know, Uni was just definite and persistent on that turret. Wasn't even shooting anybody, wasn't even, you know, trying to attack anyone from the side of Nebulae. Turret is the main